What's up, guys? So I just got a text from Emilio. He was on his way over to my place, and I guess the Hondaru broke down on his way over here. I guess the fitting that feeds the turbo and oil pressure sensor, we have a T coming off the block. I guess the fitting kind of came apart, and he's stranded on the side of the highway, a good like almost hour away from me, and I have to go over to the local fitting and tube store where we went and got that fitting made, pick up a new one for him, and then I'm gonna go over there and we're gonna try to fix it on the side of the road, bring him some oil. But yeah, we're on a Hondaru rescue mission right now. Damn, guys, I should have brought the hatch. There's a Lamborghini right in front of me on the highway. This would have been a good episode of Racing Random People 2.0. And also, sorry my windshield's so dirty, I'd wash it off, but my sprayer's still pointed over here and it doesn't really spray on the windshield anymore. Damn, that thing's tight. What happened, dog?
Somehow this female fitting broke off, and that was the T that we were using for the oil feed and the oil pressure sensor. So it just,
That's crazy.
that's all the oil.
Yeah, hopefully it didn't lose too much. Got you the new fitting right there.
Damn, yeah, I don't know how that, so that piece that's flared out broke off. I guess that's what keeps it in there, you know?
Oh yeah, the flare on the inside.
Yeah.
That's weird. Oh yeah, I see it now. Yeah, the flare. The flare busted off that fitting right there. That piece on the inside.
You think I tightened it too much?
I asked him why it might break like that. They said you probably over tightened it.
It came loose, so I did like tighten it.
Oh, you got it pretty tight? Yeah, they said you just need to go like hand tight and then a quarter turn. I guess they don't need to be like crazy tight.
Well, I think I got it a little more than that. Well, let's pray that the engine is still good. I think it's fine. Like, as soon as it happened, because like the oil squirted here, I don't know if it sucked some in here, it looks a little wet. But the exhaust got all smoky by the way.
Is there still oil on the dipstick?
Yeah, there's still oil.
It should be good then. You pulled it over right away.
Anything in through the filter, you know?
Oh, you're probably fine. If it did, it'll just burn it. As long as it didn't lose oil pressure, you're good. Good?
Yeah. Gotta plug in the sensor.
Still at 0? Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Add some more.
Sensor plugged in?
I think so.
Why would it be at 0?
It still looks like there's a lot of oil under the car, like right here, so I feel like there's still pressure when you stopped, you know? Like it was still squirting when you stopped.
I'm saying even if it needed a little bit more oil, it shouldn't be at 0. Yeah, shut it off. I don't know if the gauge is working or not. Oh, here.
That's kind of sketch. Well, I mean, what we could do real quick, you could take off the feed to the turbo and just we can crank it over real quick with no plugs plugged in or something. Just let it turn over and see if oil squirts out. Just to see if oil's coming.
I feel like it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, the plug might have just got soaked in oil. Oh yeah. Yeah, stop. Yeah. There's oil coming through it.
The motor sounds fine.
Yeah, it just filled it up like that much.
Yeah, there's definitely better.
So it's pumping. So maybe the sensor just got all messed up, I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense, but
yeah, it's kind of weird. So we did get the new fitting put on the Hondaru that broke, and we topped it off with oil, but for some reason the oil pressure gauge was only reading 0 PSI. We even took the oil feed going to the turbo off, and I put that into one of the oil bottles, and oil was flowing through it, and for some reason the gauge is just reading 0 PSI. So we don't know if the sensor is messing up or the harness might be a little burnt up, because when that fitting broke off, the wires kind of moved back towards the manifold and melted a little bit of it. So we're not too sure. So what we did was we just pushed it off the side a little more. We're gonna run back to my place and pick up a new sensor, harness, and gauge off of one of the other cars. I might actually have a new kit laying around, I'm not sure, but we're gonna come back with one that we know for sure works, and if it's still reading 0 PSI, we might actually just end up towing it back, because it's not worth trying to drive it back if we're unsure of what the oil pressure is at. So
yeah, we don't want to hurt anything else, because the motor sounds like, it doesn't sound.
Yeah, it sounds fine, but it's weird that the gauge isn't reading anything when there's clearly oil coming through the line. It should be at least reading something.
Yeah, it's not reading
like
anything.
Even if it's low, like 10 PSI or something, it's just stuck at 0. The needle doesn't move at all, so we'll see. We'll be back. All right, ready to go.
So now we gotta look at this one?
Yeah, just start it. Oh yeah, she's good.
Works. So the wiring was messed up.
Yep, she's good. All right, guys, so we figured it out. So right now the fuel pressure gauge is actually the oil pressure gauge, and it's idling at 50 PSI right now. We did actually go back to my house and we picked up my old gauge, and I don't know where the sensor's at, but we picked up my old stuff out of Wago to double check it. And then I also took this gauge out of the minivan, because this is the newer style that is the same one he has right here. The one out of the Wago is the older style. I brought this in case it might have just been the gauge itself. We've been troubleshooting, but before we even threw in the gauge from Wago, Emilio realized that the fuel pressure gauge is the same as the oil pressure gauge. They take the same sensor, they use the same exact gauge. The only difference is one says fuel and one says oil, but they both read you 100 PSI. And what we did is we unplugged well, at first we took the sensor out of the fuel rail and put that on the oil side of things, and still had the same issue. Oil pressure was still 0. And then we plugged in the gauge, or the sensor that we had on the oil side of things, into the fuel rail, and it was reading fine, so we knew it wasn't the sensor. And then we ended up taking the wiring from the fuel pressure gauge, ran that over to the oil pressure gauge, plugged that in, and now it's reading. So we have this plugged into the oil side, and she is making oil pressure, so she's all good.
She's good.
Yeah, it really didn't lose that much oil either. It did lose a couple quarts, but
yeah,
it was fine. But we were just really worried that it was only reading 0 PSI. But honestly, we took up like all day just figuring this thing out.
Hey, but it works. At least we know it works. I didn't want to drive it and then mess it up, but like I said before, it didn't sound messed up, but you never know.
She sounds fine. She's idling at 50 PSI right now. So yeah, I don't know if a lot of what I said made sense, but here's the fuel pressure sensor. We took the harness off of that and ran it around to our oil pressure sensor, which is right here. So it's working great. I guess the harness must have got melted, because here is the oil pressure harness, the original one. You can see the plug is a little melted right here. Didn't think that would cause any problems, but obviously the wires messed up somewhere along the line right there.
And it also got drenched with the hot oil that came out, because the sensor's right here, so when the oil started coming out, it just submerged that whole plug.
Yeah, I don't know, but she has pressure, we're good. We saw oil coming out of the turbo feed, so we weren't too worried when we saw that, but we wanted to be sure. But I guess let's try to make it back.
Alive.
Yeah, she's still going. Hondaru made it.
I'm tired now, dude. That was a lot of running around just to
I know we spent all day.
It was basically an oil change on the side of the highway.
I mean, yeah, she's ready to go now. Don't have to worry about that for a couple thousand more miles.
All right. Oil pressure was good.
That's good. Yeah, at least it didn't hurt anything
I know.
that we know of.
It was just,
She didn't lose too much oil though.
She's kind of shy from going to the track tomorrow.
Yeah, she's scared.
Yeah, scared
She
of
doesn't want to go 10s. She peed herself a little bit. Alright guys, well we just got back from rescuing the Hondaru. She's all good to go, and we're probably going to take it to the track tomorrow. Emilio's going to try to run this first 10. We'll see how that goes. But we just got back, and we have some packages for Wago that I'm going to open up real quick. Show you guys what we got. The main piece is in this bottom bin right here. I've been saying that I've been waiting on it for a while, so you guys probably know what that is. But we got a couple other ones real quick that we're going to open up. And then once the other mounts come in, we'll be able to start throwing all this stuff in there. Get her going. So this first box is from K-Tuned. We have a power steering and AC delete kit for Wago, which is this guy right here. So it comes with a smaller belt, so you don't have to run the AC compressor and the power steering compressor anymore. The power steering pump gets rid of all that. It'll clean it up a lot. That will be going on the K20. And then we also got a fuel rail from them as well. K-Tuned black fuel rail. That looked really good on there. So thank you guys for getting us hooked up with some of that stuff. And then in this box, I already opened it, but this one is from Clutch Masters. This is a K-Series twin disc. Then we also have some more bushings for the Hondaru actually, in case we run into that issue again when we had to pull the motor out last time. Kind of ate those up, so we have a couple more of those in case we need them for Emilio's car. We got some more of those, but yeah, we got the twin disc right here. That'll be ready to go on. Still waiting on the head gasket as well. We should be getting that in the next couple of days, but I'm not in a hurry since we're getting the mounts in a couple of days anyways, so I don't need to put the motor together just yet. And then lastly, in this box, we got the all-wheel drive K-Series transmission.
Watch your fingers. Cut towards yourself.
Ooh. There she is. This is an all-wheel drive K-Series transmission out of 04 CRV, I believe. That's just what we need.
Another piece to the puzzle.
Yep, this is the last main piece to the puzzle. Oh dude, she's been sitting though.
She needs some fresh paint.
Yeah, I need to get her cleaned off. Just like that.
Ooh.
Nice. Definitely need to get this thing cleaned up. Sounds like it goes in every gear pretty good though.
Mm-hmm.
So this was like the last main piece we needed for the all-wheel drive swap in Wago for the K-Series. I want to give a huge thanks to Kenny over at Humble Performance because he hooked me up with Fernando from CLM Motorsports, and he was able to get one of these sent over for me. So I want to give a huge thanks to him, or else I probably would have not found one because these are getting really hard to come by. But I ended up finding a K all-wheel drive training for Wago, and now we just got to get this thing cleaned up. And once we get the head gasket, we'll get the K20 thrown together, and then just start getting everything ready to be dropped into Wago. Then we're just waiting on the Hassport mounts, which should be on the way here very soon as well. But yeah, I'm excited.
Is it?
No.
What mile an hour is it say?
Hold on, hold it at 20.
Hold on.
Hold it at 20.
It's at 20 right now.
That's at 20?
Dude,
It's fucking matching.
It's perfect.
That's insane. Hold on, let's fucking see if we dial
Why did we never try that in the first
Because
place?
who would try that? That would never
That's
work.
2 good ideas I've had today, bro. I'm on a roll, dude.
What was the first one?
The sensor thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're on a roll, dude. Dude, it matches it like perfect.
What mile an hour is it at now?
20, bro.
Take it to 30.
Hold on.
I'm on 30, bro.
That's 30.
Right to it. No fucking no.
You want 40?
Straight to the Hondaru. Honda and Subaru are the same signal, bro.
They are.
Same signal.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. Per speedometer correction and just put a percent.
Oh my, look, just add like 2%. I think it needs like 2%.
I don't think it needs any because I think
No, it's slightly less. He went to 40 and it was only like 35.
it was 37.
Was it?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It could be like
Okay.
right there.
Just add 1%.
I'm gonna add 2. You said 2, so that's what you
I'm
get.
thinking 2.
You get what you get and don't throw a fit. All right, take it to 40.
I don't know why we never tried that.
Because who would think? 40. Give me 40. 2%.
That's 40 right there.
37, 38. Just saying.
It's a little under 40.
Alright, that's
Okay.
40
No.
right there. That's 40 right there.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
That's
exactly
38,
40.
39.
That's exactly 40 right there.
It's 38, 39. That's rad. Okay, button it up.
Didn't even need it.
Oh, yes.
Who knew?
That's crazy.
Wait till I get the RPM gauge. That's what Emilio calls it. I'm gonna hook up the RPM gauge.
Yeah, bro.
The tachometer, bro.
No, it's an RPM gauge. Hey, but everybody knows what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Well,
Okay, well, that's the same
We're gonna
thing.
hook that up, and if that's the same signal, we're done.
So you're telling me the RPM gauge is gonna go bloop?
Alright, if it does,
It has to, bro.
that'd be epic. Let's just finish it off.
That's gonna be sweet.
Honda and
Can you put the 2-step on real quick?
Give me a
It's-
second.
it's
Let's
already
get the
done.
RPM gauge going.
What are we watching, the RPM?
Yeah, the RPM gauge.
On the cluster?
Yeah.
It's the middle one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck you.
It doesn't work, dude.
I wonder if it works. Let's try this again.
That scared me. I had to turn it off real quick.
You say it again?
We figured it out again.
2,000.
Give it a little.
What?
No way.
Yes. Look, I got the
way.
shift light even hooked up. Look. Oh.
Hold on. No way.
What?
What? Hold on. What?
I was getting that.
Okay,
not like
well,
that.
don't scare me like that.
I
Well,
want
when
to
Brent
be
says,
ready.
hold on, wait, like kind of fast, it sounds like something's
Yeah.
wrong.
It's because you want to stop it.
First thing I do, turn the
All right,
engine
hold
on.
that sheesh. Hold it at 3,000. No, hold.
Will you hear that?
What about hold?
Hold on a
Did you not
second. Do you hear the
understand?
shift light?
It's a shift notification. 3,000?
Yeah, that works.
3,000. Dude, that's sick.
Under
Is that,
Roo.
is that just the factory STI to the...
That's factory to factory everything.
Everything works
There's no
factory.
interpolators, no resistors, no crap.
It was meant
Literally
to
just
be.
wire to
It's
wire.
meant to be. It's meant to be. No translators.
Damn. The tack works now.
Maybe it was meant to be.
We've almost got everything working like normal stock.
All we need is the temperature gauge and everything works.
I could do the temperature gauge.
I want to show the shift notification again. What was
Hold
that?
on.
Oh yeah, he
That's
set the
the
shift light
RPM
earlier.
You hear it?
Yeah.
It's a notification. It beeps at you.
It sends me a text. It says shift, bitch.
Yeah, that's great.
Now I can set it here.
Dude, that's crazy.
It works.
Watch,
dude.
yeah, watch him set it. It's cool.
Where should we set it at?
Well, you're gonna shift. Where are you gonna shift?
Let's see if it goes as far as I need it to.
All right, Revlon was at 88.
Oh, it stops at 7.
Starts at 7.
No. No.
That's bull.
That's no fun.
That's some.
That's right when VTech hits.
Yeah. That thing's gonna beep at you the entire time.
Damn. EJs have no fun. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not hating. But yeah, I don't know. That we're gonna need more than 7.
Oh yeah.
It like hits two-step and then
it pushes through?
Yeah.
That's exactly what my MR2 did, remember?
Yeah.
All right, guys, so we brought the Hondaru over to Brent's and we've been working on this thing pretty much all night. I just showed some clips of us messing around with the RPM on the TAC, on the factory STI cluster, and we were also messing with, what was the other thing we were messing with? Control. Oh yeah, the boost controller. Speedo. Yeah, and the speedo and things like that. So if you guys remember, we ordered this thing called a Dakota digital translator, which is tucked back under here. And what this is made to do is we planned on using it to run the factory output from the STI tranny speed sensor to that translator, and then the input on the Honda for the Honda speed sensor would go also into that translator. And what's supposed to do is kind of dial those together so that the Honda could read the speed of the factory STI transmission, and it would be displayed on the Honda screen, and we would be able to set up the two-step and things like that, and like boost by gear, since we would have the speed working. But we were messing with it, and it turns out you can actually just run the wire straight from the factory STI speed sensor right into the Honda on the same pin, and the Honda reads it perfect, which is crazy. So that was really cool. And then, was the RPM the same way too, Brent?
Yep. Exactly.
Just went right in and the RPM started working as well. So the RPM works on the cluster, and the Honda reads the speed accurately now of the Hondaru. We were trying to mess with the two-step for a while, but it's having this weird issue where it will hold two-step for a couple seconds at what we set it to, but then the car kind of pushes through the two-step. We also got this 4-port boost solenoid thrown on there so we can turn up the boost gradually as we go. We still need to take it on the street and see where it's at right now. Brent just set the duty cycle to 40% on this guy, and if it needs to make a little bit more, we're just gonna slowly add percentage until we get it right where we want it. It was running about 17 to 18 PSI, that's what it did the 11.3 on, and we're thinking we can turn it up to about 20, maybe 22, because when we took it down to Nebraska, it was actually peaking 23 PSI, and it was holding it down there. But we did get a lot done on her tonight. Didn't show too much of it, but I think she's ready for the track tomorrow. We were trying to find some tires as well, but no one had anything, so we're just gonna have to run it on the ones that are already on there. We're just gonna let some more air out of them, run them at like 18 PSI maybe.
Throw some dino sauce on it.
Oh yeah, bring some dino sauce with us. Get them all sticky. Because if we can get that 60 foot down, it has it.
Yeah.
See you later for tonight.
See you later, bro.
Thanks for the help. That was crazy, it just worked like that though.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's awesome.
Just plugged right in.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It's gonna make it so much easier to like build these things. That'd be cool.
They were made to have Honda motors.
Yeah.
They sure will.
I mean, you just tie it right in. You just go.
I know,
No big deal.
I don't know why we didn't try that right away.
Because who'da thunk it?
Who'da thunk it?
Who'da thunk it?
Emilio's been coming through with all the ideas today.
Been using the old brain there.
Yep.
It works still. Sometimes. I only got good ideas once a month.
Well, today was a good once a month.
It was. We needed it.
I mean, you're done for September, but
yeah, I'm good.
October's just
I'm
around the
off
corner.
for a full month.
I got it done early. I'm out. So.
All right, man.
All right.
We'll see you later.
Cool. See you guys.
Yeah, solenoid seems like it's right where it was at.
RPM gauge works. RPM gauge, you heard me right.
RPM gauge. The TAC.
The TAC works.
That's so crazy that it works now.
I know, it's so weird that it works.
Everything on the STI cluster works now except for the coolant temp.
And then
But
the
that's-
check engine, we gotta connect to a